For many years, my partner Gary Biltcliffe and I investigated a north-south ley line called the Binus line or Binus line, and dowsed its male and female dragon currents all the way from the Isle of Wight in the south to the very northern tip of Scotland at Binus. Often we were guided by the spirit of the land, and also by the dragons themselves, which we called Ellen and Binus, similar to Michael and Mary of the St. Michael line. The notion that the Binus line may actually be a credible alignment first came to Gary in the early 1990s as a vision while sitting on Glastonbury Tor during a pilgrimage along the St. Michael line. Spirit then directed him to a bookshop in Glastonbury's High Street, where a book came to his attention by an author called Guy Raglan Phillips, who in the 1970s had tentatively plotted this line while investigating an ancient area in northern England known in Celtic times as Brigantia. The Michael line crosses the Binus line just below the Uppington White Horse, or Dragon as we like to think. Once an important centre and place of assembly for the ancient Britons, it is here that Ellen and Binus form two crossings, or nodes, one at the centre of the hill fort known as Uppington Castle, and the other on Dragon Hill. The dragons carry with them a powerful telluric energy which seems to respond to human consciousness and help direct us through meditation to many of the sites along their path. As we dowsed the currents, we discovered they connect with many well-known places, including cities such as Birmingham and Manchester, as well as many lesser-known sites and some that had been long forgotten. The dragon currents of Ellen and Binus form 33 nodes on the Binus line. One of the nodes is at the sacred hill of St. Catherine's in Winchester, once a Druid Gorsedd and a capital of England. King Henry II and his queen, Ellen of Aquitaine, modelled the castle at Winchester as a King Arthur's Camelot. There is also a node at the ancient Druidic sanctuary on top of Bar Beacon, which is just north of the Birmingham city centre. Another is at the old Serpent Temple at Shap in Cumbria, once the size of Amesbury before it was destroyed by the local landowner. And here we see a watercolour which shows remnants of the dynamited stone avenue, which was painted in 1755. The dragons node also over a well inside this very early cathedral at Carlisle, which actually has Saxon foundations. And inside the ancient Royal Abbey at Dunfermline, the original capital of Scotland, the node being marked by the grave of Robert the Bruce, and where we find the shrine of St. Margaret on the female dragon current. Since drawing attention to this alignment and its forgotten sites on the Binus line, we have met and heard from many people who themselves have been compelled by spirit to pilgrimage along the path of the dragons and the alignment, which we name the Spine of Albion. Many do so for their own healing and guidance, while others felt drawn to heal and rebalance the dragons' alignment in their local landscape. One of these places was at a powerful node inside the ruined Radcliffe Tower just north of Manchester, once part of a medieval manor house owned by the powerful Radcliffe family. The St. Michael line and the Binus line are just two of the many Earth energy lines that support Earth, forming a complex grid system which encompasses the entire planet. These lines of Earth energies differ in size and function, like the arteries, veins, and capillaries of the human body. And just like the human body, if these main vital vessels of Earth become blocked or damaged or neglected, the land itself can become weak and unhealthy. Through dreams, a female spirit also came to Gary and I while staying on the mystical island of Lindisfarne off the east coast of Northumberland. She showed us that certain sites on Lindisfarne were linked by a female dragon, also associated with the ancient goddess Bride or Bridget. Eventually we realised that this female dragon energy had a male counterpart, which entwined along an east-west alignment that continued to Roslin Chapel and eventually to the holy island of Iona. Since that dream, we have begun a quest along this axis and discovered a long-forgotten pilgrim route, Marking the alignment are old Druidic sanctuaries, Chaldee religious communities, and inauguration sites of the old warrior kings of the north. We believe the various cultures of old knew about this ancient line of energy, which gave them a sense of enlightenment and a connection with a universal force. They then used that knowledge to help the land and their people to flourish. It seemed that Spirit was urging us to bring this ancient root and its associated male and female energies, similar to Michael and Mary and Eleanor Molinas, be brought back into consciousness at this time. During the research of this alignment, we have been directed, along with many other people, to heal some of its sacred places, including major battle sites such as Bannockburn and Flodden. We have also researched many onlus sites associated with the British Isles and Ireland for our book The Power of Centre. During our travels to ancient sites in Italy and Greece, we realised that ancient cultures around the world had the desire to locate the geographical centre or onlus of their kingdoms and cities. The early Celts also considered finding the onlus of their kingdom important, and in the British Isles and Ireland we found that certain known ceremonial centres of power were linked in with other special and significant places in the surrounding landscape, such as hills or mountains, known as the Mother Mountains. Scotland's central mountain Schiehallion is one of these places, with its tales of sleeping warriors, and the Cailleach, the goddess queen of winter. Another feature of these onlus sites are shrines, springs and wells dedicated to the local earth goddess, such as here below the hill of Ushni, which marks the onlus of Ireland, known as St. Bridget's Well, that form part of a much larger religious complex dedicated to this ancient deity. The Isle of Man marks the onlus of the combined lands of England, Scotland, Wales and Ireland, and at its very centre, next to an ancient trackway, we discovered another ancient shrine dedicated to Vrishi or Brishi, the Manx word for bride or Bridget. Nearby is a holy well, which is now neglected and forgotten, hidden under branches, and used by the local farmer to fill a nearby water trough for his animals. However, up to Victorian times, this shrine and holy well were the most frequently visited sacred place on the island, with people arriving from all over to receive the holy well's healing properties. Many of you may know of the Fountain Group, or Fountain International as it's known today, and its founder Colin Bloy, who introduced the notion in the 1970s that healing a town or community through the focusing of unconditional love to specific and relative centres of power within those communities was extremely beneficial. Bloy believed that visualising a surge of pure energy or light from the source towards the navel or onlus of a given area significantly raised the vibration of that place. Honouring the mother goddess at the onlus of a kingdom was important to the ancients because they understood that from the centre or navel their lands and people received here nourishment and enlightenment. It is whilst in the womb that we are fed and nurtured by our mother through the navel. So the concept of being connected to our mother by the umbilical cord at the centre of our body transfers symbolically to our existence on the earth plane and our connection with the Earth Mother, hence our natural propensity to locate the navel or onlus within our lands. Bride, Bridget, Brig is also referred to as Brigantia, who was considered the ancient mother goddess of the Britons, and to the Romans she was Minerva. Brigantia is depicted here on an altar stone found originally on the borders of England and Scotland. And here we see she has a stone at her feet known as an onlus stone, and in her left hand she holds a ball or cosmic egg, and her spear, we believe, represents the axis mundi or central pole linking the underworld, earthly plane and the heavens. Bride is also associated with the swan, possibly due to her connection with Imbolc and the star constellation of Cygnus. As we quested to the various old Celtic onlus sites around the British Isles and Ireland, and along the ancient axis that links Lindisfarne to Iona, Bride or Bridget was our inspiration, and during meditation and through dreams she guided us to many key sites. We also called upon her while performing blessings and ceremonies at these sacred places to help amplify any healing intention. More importantly, this connection with her also enabled us while walking the sacred routes to focus our own heart centres towards the nurturing and preservation of Mother Earth. The centre of England was marked in Roman times by an ancient crossroads of Watling Street and the Fosse Way. It is known as High Cross, where we find the remains of a stone monument first erected in the 1700s. In Stukely's drawings it was shown to be much grander and ornate, having replaced the wooden cross which marked the site of a Roman temple. Just a couple of miles from here is Croft Hill, known in earlier times as Craybury, meaning Central Hill, which we considered symbolically to be England's mother mountain. It was once a Druid moot hill, and like the hill of Oceanian Island, it was a place of inauguration and ceremonial gathering. Sadly, most of it has been quarried away, leaving the largest man-made hole in Europe. Much healing is needed here, at such an important ceremonial centre of England, to mend this great wound in the body of Mother Earth and to restore the local earth energy lines. Croft Hill was also one of 10 sites that once lay on a circle of perpetual choirs mentioned in the Welsh triads. At each of these 10 sites, it is believed that choirs of Druids and later early Christian saints maintained perpetual chanting, the purpose being to enchant and heal the land and spread their religious influence. John Michell, in his book At the Centre of the World, referred to a small hamlet called the White-leaved Oak in Herefordshire as marking the centre of this circle. The White-leaved Oak village is nestled below Ragged Stone Hill, a twin-peaked hill once considered by the indigenous tribes as sacred to the goddess, and at its base are 3 holy wells. The hill is also a focal point of many lines of earth energies, which is perhaps why the Druids revered the hill as an important centre. The leaves of the white-leaved oak are variegated. Its white blotches were used as an oracle by the Druids. Their size and arrangement and number were taken as omens which determined the fate of many of the locals. The tree no longer exists, having been cut down in the 19th century by an angry farmer who was fed up with people trespassing on his land to place ritual offerings there. However, up until a few months ago, this common oak in a field just below Raggedstone Hill became the new focus for ritual offerings. In fact, it was weighed down by various regalia, some quite unconventional. Unfortunately, this aging oak, with its hollow trunk, recently burnt down due to lighted candles having been left inside the hollow. We, along with many others, were very saddened by this event and are putting our heads together to come up with a new way of honouring this very special centre of the goddess. Marking the centre of the British Isles is the little town of Whalley in Lancashire, with its ancient church and medieval abbey. In Saxon times, it was once a thriving centre of Celtic Christianity, and the church was thought to have been on the site of an important prehistoric ceremonial shrine. Ellen, the female current of the Binus line, flows through the church and abbey with the alignment and male current very close by. The importance of the site is now reaching the consciousness of the locals, and recently a wonderful healing sanctuary has been established nearby. Its members willing to help with the healing of the land at the centre of the British Isles, which is much needed here. Recently, the spirits have communicated with many of us to tell us that the land is in a sort of stasis, that nature is wilting under the pressure of humanity's combined negative thoughts, beliefs and intentions because of the COVID crisis. As we're all aware, the emotions of fear, misery, anxiety and insecurity have never been so strong. As well as separating us from our all-knowing inner self, these negative emotions are separating many people from feeling at one with nature and therefore the needs of nature and our entire planet. So many people are unaware of the power of their thoughts, intentions and actions and how they can affect the landscape, which after all is a living and intelligent entity. Those retreating in fear cannot see clearly, confining the soul and forgetting how to connect with the light. Many forget that once earth and humanity coexisted together as one. The ancients lived in partnership with the land and consulted the earth when they wished to take anything from it. If they needed to take soil from the land or fell a tree, they consulted the earth spirits. They consulted them on where they could build and where and when they could plant their crops. They also consulted spirit about how they could caretake the land. Channeled or inspirational sources inform us that the Druids knew how to dispel negative energies built up in the landscape by using certain words of power at particular sacred sites. Interestingly, many believe that in the Bronze Age, the Wessex culture understood this in order to maintain balance and harmony in the land. They utilized the earth energies at certain mounds and stone monuments to cleanse the land of any detrimental energy, whether it would be as a result of conflict, sickness, or geological activity. While in lockdown, Gary and I have been asked through dreams and sometimes a direct call from Spirit to be aware that humanity's help is needed more than ever to keep the earth energies balanced and healthy. Likewise, we've had many people local to certain sites on the Binus line and other ley line systems of the earth telling us that they too are being called to do the same. In fact, the spirits from both the earth and cosmic realms are ready and willing to help us in this mission. They are telling us that at this time, the higher vibrational energies coming to earth are at their most powerful. Therefore, we are being guided to direct that pure higher vibrational light from source with unconditional love into the earth energy grid, particularly into the dragon lines. However, before we do, we need to cleanse and purify certain places of the low frequency coarser energy fields. By clearing the negative emotional thoughts of humanity, like our ancient ancestors once did, we are helping Earth to receive these new higher vibrational energies. In order to clear and cleanse the land of all this negative thought built up during these difficult times, we have been told to go to already lightened places to do the work. An enlightened place being somewhere separate from our daily consciousness, a special place dedicated to earth and nature of the highest vibration, a place where the earth spirits can communicate with us. Once there, we should allow Spirit to take us on a spiritual journey in our imagination to where the earth wants each of us to be and what it wants us to do at this time. Listen with your heart and hear what the earth has to say. During our healing ceremonies, Gary and I carry stones of power, such as the green serpentine stone made of nephrite jade from New Zealand, called the Ponamu, and the green stone from Iona, both holding the very essence of Mother Earth and her nourishing healing power. Using visualization and holding the green stones, we can send the pure cosmic light from source to the places that need the clearing, especially the towns and cities. Once the energy lines of the earth have been nourished by the celestial light, they can in turn reanimate and reignite the land and its crystalline minerals to nourish the soil, the trees, the rivers and the springs. For many regions in lockdown, it will become more and more difficult to gather in our usual groups. Walking the land and gathering in our special places may be impossible for some of us. For those who cannot connect with their enlightened place in the landscape, it may be good to visualize the places that need clearing and healing from an enlightened place within their home. Then visualize yourself being transported to that spot, performing the healing remotely. It is also important for us to keep healthy at this time in order to retain a high vibrational state, to hold the integrity of our healing intention as we receive the messages from Spirit and Mother Earth. Whatever place you direct your focus, the timing of the healing work is essential, so always seek guidance as to when would be a good day, time, phase of the sun or moon to carry out the work. For some, lockdown may have given them the time to physically and mentally stop and to reflect upon their surroundings with a wider perspective. Also during this time, many people of all ages have had the opportunity to walk and engage with their local landscape, and for some it has been for the very first time. It is a chance for them to remember and embrace nature. So perhaps for those who have lost touch with nature and the plight of our environment, in some subliminal way, walking the land during this time may help them heed its call to love and nurture nature rather than abuse and neglect it. In turn, it may help them understand their own emotional and spiritual needs. There's no question that the land needs our help at this time. The trees, the rivers, the springs, the hills and the mountains, the stones and the soil all need our help. And there is no question that the earth needs our positive energy. It is important now more than ever that the earth is consulted with honour and respect. All we need to do is act kindly, peacefully and compassionately towards the land and each other. A person whose energy is pure and full of light and consciously causes positive changes around them and therefore contributes to the healing of nature. Once restored, our landscape can function as a true place of spiritual illumination and empowerment, where we can experience an interconnectedness with the intelligence of the cosmos and with Mother Earth and all that she provides. And we hope that out of lockdown, new pilgrims who have transcended or risen above the restraints of our time will become part of a global community of highly conscious and enlightened beings. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Caroline. That was, as I say, a perfect way to end the conference, to round it off, and beautifully put, just gorgeous, a real sense of connection there. So thank you very much. Well, that's the end of our conference today. Just a few more things to say. I hope you've enjoyed our virtual conference. Although we couldn't be together in body this year, we definitely are in mind and spirit. I've had a really strong sense of everyone there, and it's been nice watching the various comments on the chat coming through. And I hope you feel a new inspiration to go out and connect with the land, to walk on it in a gatekeeper way, respecting, protecting, and above all, loving the land with its trees, hills, waterways, spirits, and ancient sites. If you have enjoyed today, please stay in touch. The Gatekeeper Trust website has much information about our activities. Just Google Gatekeeper Trust if you don't know it. And we would love you to join as a friend, if you are not already a friend of Gatekeeper, and to come to our future events. We have 2 residential pilgrims weekends planned for next year, pandemics allowing. One in April focusing on Amesbury and the beautiful Marlborough Downs. And this will be staying in an amazing property in Lockeridge, which is very close to Amesbury. And in June, another Pilgrims Weekend. We've actually got 2 this year, next year, having not been able to have one this year. And the June one is in Stratford on Avon. There's also the Wheel of Life programme, which has local events around the time of the full moon each month in the relevant sign in the landscape zodiac, which Mike Newton spoke about so well. These are usually organised by our local contacts and can take the form of pilgrimage, dance, singing, poetry, art, meditation, or all the above. Do watch the website for details, and if you would like to do something in your local area, please get in touch with the Gatekeeper Secretary. You don't have to be a great expert, and we're hoping to get more and more people involved so that the Wheel of Life can spread and turn more vigorously each year. I'd particularly like to thank Charlotte Young and Jane Withers for their extraordinary efforts in promoting and re-energising the Wheel of Life in the last few years. It's been fantastic work that they've both been doing. Many thanks also to all our speakers, and also particularly to Mike Newton and Amelia Coe, who've coped with the complicated technology to run this event, and of course to you all for giving your precious time. Finally, please go out into the land and do let us know what you discover. I was intending to hand over to Charlotte at this point to close the conference, but as I seem to have the candle, perhaps I should do that. In fact, it's not inappropriate because I'm sitting here in the middle, in my little house, in the middle of Avebury Stone Circle, about 50 feet from the Michael and Mary lines. So we have a tradition, as you probably know, of coming together when we're physically together and all blowing out the candle together. But I feel your presence very strongly, and so I would ask that you come together with me to this candle to blow out the light, or to send out the light through from this hub where we are, this center, through the Michael and Mary lines and the energy lines to the land and to all those who need it. So with me. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's the end of our conference. I've seen lots of comments, several comments asking for us to do more Zooms, and I think we will probably consider it very seriously. So thank you very much and goodbye.